Hello and welcome to Health, Wealth, and Happiness Monthly Mastery. Thank you so incredibly much for being here. I'm getting chills just thinking about what we're going to cover today. Here's what I know. In the last 2 months, thinking about this, in the last 2 months, I've gone through a lot of what I'm going to cover today with my beautiful girls, Paige and Josie, and it's changed the future outlook of where things are going to go for them in major ways. And for whatever reason, I think they're at that point in life where they're like, Dad, tell us more. And I'm like, really? You want to know more about this? So I'm going to break down for you how we're purposefully going after building wealth in different areas. So if you're familiar with my teachings, if you've been in our program for a long time, you understand the fact that we talk about trading time for money. That's one way to create income. Recurring revenue. So subscription revenue in today's world, the Netflix generation, is another way. And then the third way is percentage of sale, percentage of profit. So kind of setting yourself up so that even you get passive revenue. And I'll talk a little bit more about that super shortly. But the idea is that we can trade time for money. We can set up recurring revenue, subscription payments like the Netflix generation, or we can just be part of a sale and get checks every so often for something we did once even. Isn't that crazy? And so I'm really trying to help my girls understand all these realms as they're getting ready. Well, my oldest is getting ready to go to college, and just to understand the bigger picture of life. Because here's what I know. If somebody sat down with me when I was, 15, 16, 17 and said, Char, here's how different people are doing it in terms of all the opportunities. And back then, not that I'm that old, but back then, that shift would have been huge for me. Because I was really in absorption mode at that age. I felt like I was more mature. I was about business. I was about helping people. And my two themes back then, and they still are today, helping people and working with technology. Because I love working with computers and helping people. And that's how I got my first job. And then I went through and built out as a vice president, general manager of a computer company. That job then went into the internet business. And I think you might know where that went. Retired at 29, hit the road in a big motorhome, and lived into another childhood dream of mine to be a driver of a bus, but in the form of a big bus type motorhome, Class A motorhome. So that all being said, I just want to make sure you understand the significance of the work we're going to do today. And I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to help you just kind of see around other ways of being, other things that are working today. When I go over number 4, you're going to be kind of mind blown, I think, of what happened in the last week for my daughters and I. And I was reporting it out to them. And I think you're going to really enjoy what we're going to cover today. So before we do that, let's go ahead and jump into here's how it works today. We have the big picture. You and I are going to go on a little journey, assess where we're at. Why is this all important anyway in line of our life? Then we're going to get into the training. Then we're going to get into some tactics and make sure you've got the lay of the land here for really propelling your life of wealth along with happiness and, of course, health. Health, wealth, and happiness. Today we're putting a pedal down on the wealth piece. So what's working right now? 2019 is when this is filmed. What's working today? And I would think with all of these things, they're probably going to work for the next 3, 5, 10 years and beyond. So it's kind of cool how the legacy of this can live. But just want to make sure I'm dialing in for you, really sharing with you the tactics of what's working. This is the way we're going to approach it. How to get the most out of our time together. Assure you have no distractions. So if there's anything, buzzers, whatever it is, shut it down, really concentrate today because I want to assure you and I go on a journey where you really give it deep thought. Could this apply for me? Should I do the research? Should I think about, one of the topics or a couple of the topics? Especially as we get into tactics, that's where I'm going to challenge you. Next, of course, take notes. Star any questions. We have our Q&A. We'll be answering those questions, making sure you're taken care of. If you're watching the replay, you can go ahead and comment in the comments or pop me an email, and I'll have those links or the link for my email in the replay comment area so that you can get your questions answered because I love taking care of you, helping you, supporting you. Yeah, even challenging you to really go after this. I'm getting chills. This is so incredible for us today. I want to make sure I'm so dialed in for you. I woke up today, I was like, gotta go, gotta serve, gotta take care of the beautiful you that you are. Really owning this for you. Next, of course, be open and vulnerable. That's where the growth happens. I want to just make sure we're keeping that conversation rolling and we're really pushing that forward for you. Is that the more open and vulnerable, in some instances, people have shared when I'm open and vulnerable, I ask for help. I let people know, here's what I'm up to. I share my dreams, my aspirations, my goals. And guess what happens when you do more of that? You move faster in life. In context for today, some parts faster in business even. So making sure we're dialing that in for you, serving you, supporting you, going along that journey. But you got us taking care of you. And I say us because we have a beautiful mastery community of people who are like, yeah, whatever you need, we got it. We're going after it. Next, make sure you participate. So while we're going through this, comment and say, hey, I'm here and here's what I'm up to. Here's how I'm feeling. Maybe you can share right now one thing you're excited about in line of this topic. One thing you're like, oh, I can't wait till he goes over whatever that is, whatever this is. Oh, I want to learn more about that as a potential, we'll call it a purposeful revenue stream. Cool? And of course, know this, kind of touched on this a moment ago, we're all here for you. Moving this across time, taking care of each other, hand in hand, loving, hugging, taking care of the whole journey to assure that whatever shows up for you in life or in business or even online, my three realms, that you have people that are about growth conversation, supporting you, challenging you, but helping you, that you can openly communicate with, that don't bring judgment, that are like, you know what, I get it. You're struggling with that. That's a frustration for you? Okay, well, let's talk that through. What can I do to help? That kind of dialogue. And a lot of people I've recognized, you may have too, they don't have that in their life. They just don't have those kind of people. And that's our job, in my opinion. And you'll see some of that show up in here too, which is really powerful how this kind of brings in what I like to teach is purpose, passion, positivity, productivity, and profitability all come together. And we're making the world a better place too. I love how this all interconnects. Are you excited? I hope you are. Thank you so much for just being in this time and space with me, really working along these ambitions of really going after our dreams, but also the highest performers report. Their dreams include the helping, supporting, serving of others too. I just want to make sure we set that tone here as we step into this work. This isn't about a money play today. This isn't about, I'm going to make more money, blah, 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 I'm going to be rich and doing this, making it rain. That's not what this is about. What this is about is, here's avenues that work and that I've mastered, even the last one, which is kind of speculative for the way we're going to go over it, but I've done it in the past, that are options for you. That are ways for you to help, serve, support the world in a one-on-one way, to a leveraged way, to just a investor in a certain company way, which we'll get into in a minute. I'm so excited for us. Okay, let's keep on going. Our first step, of course, is perspective. So let's jump into, and if you don't have it, you can get My Life Assessment. I'll make sure that I link in the replay. It will be in the downloads. And if you need it right now, you simply go to let me think about this, bit.ly/mylifeassessment, all one word, bit.ly/mylifeassessment, and all one word. You get into that and make sure, and I'll try to link it, put a link in for you to make sure you can get to that right away. Is that cool? And what that is, it's the 7 areas of living a full life, a life with no regret. So we're going to go over those areas, rate ourselves, and then we're going to jump right into the training. So let's get rolling on it. Here we go. And if you don't have it, that's cool too, because what we can do here is I'll just read it to you and just write your numbers down. Awesome. So the very first area in My Life Assessment, and what you're doing is rating it 0 to 10 with how much you agree with the statement is now. And here's the statement. I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Overall, I'm living into the best version of myself for me, those I love and care for, and the world. So what is that for you? 0, not dialed in at all. 10, owning it. And after today, you may assess this because of the work we're going to do. Cool? All right, number 2 is my best self. Here's the statement. Overall, I feel healthy, happy, and energized. My energy levels are consistent throughout the day, and I'm even able to sustain into the evenings until I wind down for bed. So the energy levels doing this. Bedtime? Not this. How much do you agree with that statement? 0? Yeah. My energy? What? My best self? Not so much. 10, owning it. Crushing it. What's showing up for you there? If it falls below an 8, I love this. Think about one thing you can do starting today, right after our beautiful training, to just pivot. And maybe that means, you know what, I'm going to not have any sugar or caffeine after 5 p.m. or 3 p.m. I'm going to really get my body into a state of rest, mental, what do they call that? Just mental relaxation before bedtime. And I know what time my bedtime is, right? Maybe it's not sleep for you. Maybe it's hydration, exercise, eating better, whatever that is. Would love for you to take a note on that. And I want to make sure as you think about your best self that you have at least thought about it, but preferably journaled on what is my best self. And perhaps, conversely, you've journaled on what is my worst self. And I love this exercise. I've coached a lot of people to do this over the years. Write out 1, 2, or 3 things, one line each, that your worst self is doing right now. So a lot of people, they've shared like, I'm going to the cupboard and getting pretzels instead of going to the cupboard and getting seaweed snacks. My worst self, pretzels. My best self, seaweed snacks. And as gross as seaweed snacks can sound, they actually have a salty kick to them that if you can like them, they're a great alternative to pretzels. And that's just my life story. So that's just one example of eating a little healthier. Does that all make sense? I hope that helps. It's been really powerful, not only for me. I'm 195-ish nowadays, and back before I adopted that worst best self philosophy, I was about 240, 250. Felt like total crap. Energy levels were all over the place. I was riding the sugar buzzes and all those kind of things. Not living for my best self. So it's this kind of work that really helps. Cool? So excited for you. Third one, my relationships. Here's the statements. I work diligently to create, build, and maintain great relationships with those around me. I feel I'm a good role model for my loved ones and those close to me and the world. I consistently listen well, show compassion for myself and others, and communicate my thoughts and feelings. Now you're sensing what we covered at the very beginning of our time together, that idea of being open and vulnerable, showing up here. And for a lot of people, they live around people who are about gossip, blame, excuse, denial, all these kind of things. And what we're trying to do is go after a different kind of conversation, a conversation around dreams, desires, goals, output. Like, I'm working on these things for this purpose. And the moment, I'm getting chills just telling you this, the moment you pivot that conversation towards helping others somehow, if you're in alignment with that about your being, which seems to be one of the biggest human drives, I would say outside of high performers, but also with high performers, is the helping of others, boom, that can ignite the ambitious conversation. Does that make sense? Like, so many people are caught up in their own stuff, and over time they just shut down the ability to see for others. They're just in their own drama and their own stuff, that they just lose touch with the ambition for others. Does that all make sense? So I want to make sure you're kind of seeing how the relationship piece works. And this is really pivotal. These words are here for a reason. So 0 to 10, and you may rate these individually and do an average of those. That's totally fine. 0 to 10, how are you doing? What's showing up for you? So for me, everything here, doing really well, but I keep these things top of mind every day. I would give myself a 9 on this as an average. Really working it, being here with you in this moment, having this journey together. This is everything for me. Creating, building, and maintaining an exceptional relationship with you, that's the magic. That's what I live for. I got clear on that a few years back in my work in high performance. But just being here and helping you, that is where the magic happens. I love it. Love it so much. Thanks so much for being here. You ready for the next one? How are we doing so far? Doing okay? Okay, here we go. Stress, overwhelm, and clarity. I have great stress management practices in my life. When I do get stressed, I know exactly what to do to reduce or remove it from my life. I typically do not feel overwhelmed or distracted because I have clarity of what I am or who I am and what I should be doing every day. I know that's a tall order. And again, you can rate these individually and do an average. But here's what we know. The words for this were taken from literally 1,000 coaching sessions I administered. That people felt stress and overwhelm was directly related to having no clarity or lessened clarity. The moment they had clarity, and I would say vision, and even a strategy and a plan, stress and overwhelm reduced. Just the act of planning things out can reduce stress. You follow? Just the act of knowing what you're responsible for and considering every morning and every evening, part of this journey with the High Performance Planner, what I'm doing today and how I want to feel reduces stress and overwhelm. You follow? So I'd love to know, 0 to 10, how are you doing here? And I share a quick stress management practice. Last couple of weeks, got extra stressed with a lot of different things going on, had some visitors and stuff like that, I wanted to make sure I got my stuff done, I'd go down to the pool. I'm blessed to live in a place where we have a pool and a hot tub, and I go sit in the hot tub for 10, 15 minutes, sit out and just lay back, meditate, watch the palm trees blow in the wind. Just 30 minutes of that. 10 minutes in the hot tub, 20 minutes in the pool, by the pool. Boom. Felt like a whole new person. Coming back to my high rise in the sky. I'm on it. But it reduced that sensation. I also was thinking about, and I always do this on the way back, the walk back, it's about a 5-minute walk. I always think about, okay, what is it now that I'm concentrating on? What am I going after now? And I visualize the process, how I want to feel, and what it's going to feel like once it's complete. You follow? I hope this helps. Oh, it's so good. Such good stuff. Next, my career mission. The work I do in the world is meaningful to me. I believe I'm consistent about living in alignment with what the best use of me, my passions, my talents are. And this is everything about all this. You're going to love how this interconnects. It's going to be so fantastic for you to see the mesh of what's possible, to dream bigger. I recently was listening to a podcast with, I think his name's Ramit Sethi. I think that's his name. And it was with Tim Ferriss. And he said, you can only crunch expenses so far. But the moment he realized, and he helps us realize, that you can make unlimited income, that's where the magic's at. And that's why today's conversation is arced around purposeful revenue streams that can really help the world. Oh, it's going to be so gold for you. Please, I hope you're taking this seriously and really going after this. It's not just like, this is kind of cool. It's like, no, this can change the game for me to feel better every day, getting up, going after it. And here's what we know. So many people I've had the honor of coaching, serving, supporting, have said, Char, once I aligned something that I was passionate about, profitability came. I just had to have the right conversation and really come from a place of emotion. Do you ever sense that with somebody you're talking to? People are like, oh my gosh, they're so excited about what they got. I don't even know what they got, but I want to learn more about it. I've had that happen many times, and I hope you kind of see the connection here. Our job today is to help you get excited. And these are just some ideas that we're going after in a really profound way that might help you. So I hope you're seeing the connection here. So give yourself a score. The work I do in the world is meaningful to me. I believe I'm consistent about living in alignment with the best use of me, my passions, and my talents. 0, not at all. Don't even do any work. 10, crushing it. What's the diff for you? And I gotta say, this is a 10 for me. I'm living in full alignment, and we just built out some of the stuff I'll be sharing with you. It's just fan-freaking-tastic. I hope you're sensing my excitement about this. So, so powerful. All right, next up, my hobbies and my passions. I know and understand the importance of having hobbies to help me continually connect with my creative and self-expressive side. Oops. I'm consistent about nurturing my hobbies and passions. How are you doing there? Here's what we know. You get there. This helps keep that, I don't like the word balance, but keeps the harmony in life as you're moving through life. Yeah, work. It's a little stressful right now. I got a lot. I'm in crunch mode or I'm hustling. But I need to take out time and go do something I enjoy. That helps me creatively express. And these two things are like interrelated. The more you do of this, the easier it is to deal with a lot of the stresses over here. You follow? I just know this, like if I'm in a really stressful situation and I'm like, all right, as soon as this call's over, the session's done, I got to get on my guitars and they're just off camera over here. And I just got to play and let it rip. And I love the sound of a distorted guitar chord. So when it's that heavy, crunchy, whoop, 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 I'm like, yes, going after it. And it really soothes my soul. As weird as that can sound, that's the shift. I'll do that for 5 or 10 minutes. Come back out, I'm a whole new person. And I just want to make sure you sense that and see that. So what's your score here? 0, don't have any hobbies, don't have any passions. 10, yeah, I'm on it and I do it consistently every day. So I'm going to say mine's a 7 because I'm not that consistent about it, but I use it when I need to. And I do work maybe a couple times a week, definitely on some of the things that are really my hobbies and passions. Maybe a few times if you think video games, because the girls and I play that a lot. So just want to make sure we're dialing in for you and you're seeing how this all interconnects. And of course, my life's ambitions. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have any regrets. I've lived a life where I paid attention to and taken action on my life's ambitions. At least once a year, I reevaluate my life's ambitions and schedule time for them. Some people, when they hear this, especially people brand new to personal development, self-improvement, they're like, oh, you mean like a bucket list? I'm like, sure, start with that. Typically, though, when we evolve the bucket list along the lines of what we teach in high performance, it's about helping others, at least through part of the life's ambitions. So, for example, a lot of people along the lines of contributing and volunteering, they'll go through and help others by going to the soup kitchen. They'll volunteer their time for causes they love with animals and that kind of thing. And that's part of their life's ambitions. But up until we had talked, that was kind of sitting out here. They did it once and they enjoyed it, or they did it when they were young. So my challenge for you is to really, if you don't have or haven't sat down and thought about today what my life's ambitions are, is to sit down and go, okay, what are my life's ambitions now? So that when I look back on my life, I'll be like, you know what? I knew that was something I wanted to do or enjoyed while I had good health, and I'm going to go after it. If you need some catalyst for this, I've said it before, but one of my favorite books, The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, and she really goes over at the interviews of all the people that had terminal illnesses and said, these are the things I regretted, and these are the things that I wish I did when I had good health. And believe it or not, a lot of them are around having and maintaining and creating golden friendships that last the years, and keeping in connection and still having, enthusiastic, compassionate fun and just going after that. So that's a big pivot for a lot of people. Does that all make sense? Sweet. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, we're gonna do that in a little bit. So my life's ambitions, what's your rating there? 0, don't have any life's ambitions. 10, not only do I have them, but I've allocated time in my week to pursuing them, or in my month, or in my quarter. Like for a couple people, including me, we like to travel internationally and go explore new places. So every few months, we're off. And twice a year, I think, we go over to Europe and explore new areas there. And that's on the docket. And we got it planned, and we got it actually reserved, and I'm excited for it. That's the piece. All right, that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into the training aspect of today. A couple of things I want to frame up for you here as we think about purposeful revenue streams, and or the title, 5 Purposeful Ways We're Building Wealth Right Now. Number one of my best friends, Double M as I call him, he calls me Double C, is his saying, and I put it up here, CF4L. He says he's an accountant, controller, and Mark, Double M, says cash flow for life. And what it means is our job is to assure we have incoming cash flow for living, for life. And that's a very important part of everything we're going to talk about here. The goal is, we frame this up for you, is to have more cash coming in than we have going out. And I always like to divide it up in 3 ways. We have enough money coming in, if you view it like a pipeline, and there's money flowing here, that part of that money is covering our expenses. The things that are necessary for us to spend on to live. Rent or mortgage, insurance, car payment, food, groceries, electricity, water, all these kind of things. But that amount doesn't exceed the amount of cash flow we have. You follow? So my goal is always to help people get to 50, this is a trick sometimes, 50% of the incoming cash they have coming in from their job, from investments, whatever that is, goes towards break-even expenses. Above that, we have a layer, and I love to have this automated too, so automatic payments are going on. It's the money's taken out before we see it. David Bach teaches this, and I love this. This has changed my life completely. And above that, we automatically have money going into a fun account. Could be tied to an account that pays off credit cards every month that we use for fun. And I love using credit cards because I go after the points and get all kinds of discounts and all kinds of perks. But here's the thing, along this line, I pay my credit cards off every single month. So can be a dangerous slope when you're going after, using credit cards, because it's that whole idea of, I don't know the exact stats, but like half the United States is in major debt with credit cards. I don't know if it's half, I think it's somewhere around there. And the idea is that we have to be incredibly careful about that. So if it's not a credit card, maybe it's cash or a debit card. And that's the fun money layer. So we have the break-even layer, the fun money layer, and then above and beyond that, 5, 10, 15, 20% is going away for the future. Now for me, that goes into a Roth IRA and into particular investments. One of them is just a what's low interest today? It's high interest today actually, but it's not that high in the overall picture of things. It's a very safe, conservative, lower, like 2%, 2.5% interest rate piece. And then the other two pillars, I have a Roth IRA, and then I have other investments, more speculative, and those, and I'm going to go over what those are here so you have an idea. But that's how I'm doing it. That may be over your head. That's totally fine. But the idea is this, 3 parts. You have break-even expenses. The goal, if you can meet it, 50% of your income or less. If you're in a joint relationship with a significant other, that can be more obtainable, but it requires living into number 1, which we're going to cover into just a little bit, controlling our spend rate. Purposefully controlling our spend rate. That's tricky when you start to see money come in, especially if you haven't had it for a long time. So we'll be going over a little more in depth on that. But I just want to make sure you've got these 3 tiers. And if you have your notes out, make sure you write that down. Goal, break even, 50% of my income. 10, 20% fun money. Go out, have adventure, enjoy life. Save some of that for trips. Above and beyond that, saving for the future. 5, 10, 15, 20%. So if you can do 20 there, 30 there, and 50 there, cool. Hopefully that's enough income to really go out and have some fun, but you're taking care of the future and you're taking care of your necessities too. You follow? That being framed, cash flow for life is our theme. Thank you, Double M, for really helping us with that. Let's dive into the training aspect of it today. Before we do that though, I'd love to know, how are you doing with everything so far today? You see some areas for improvement? You think about, oh my gosh, got some work to do. If you have a pretty good list, like some of the ratings that you went through in the aspect of the life assessment are low, prioritize one of them for next week. Prioritize another one of them for the week after. Prioritize another for the week after that. Just put in a week-long event in your calendar. It's Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, on paper, whatever it is. This week I'm going to work on this. This week I'm going to work on this. This week I'm going to work on this. You've got a lot of weeks in front of you, I hope. And you can really take your time. Do that work thoroughly, thoughtfully, and really gain forward motion. It's going through. If you need help kind of planning that out, that's what our Zoom Q&A is for. So make sure you ask me. I'm more than happy to help, or comment below. Hey, I'm thinking about this, this, and this, kind of confused what I need to do at a tactical level. I'll be happy to help you there. That's my job. My job is to help you down your path of growth, of mastery, so you reduce stress and overwhelm, increase clarity, but increase that sensation of living purposefully, passionately, positively, bringing that joy, productively, going after your life's work, while handling your responsibilities, and of course, profitably too. That being said, let's jump in. Here we go. The very first piece to this, and I'm going to go with the quote that I put under it first. A penny saved is a penny earned. And I cannot stress this enough. I've coached a couple of people this week who had issues with controlling their spend rate. They were buying things that they thought they needed, but when we assessed it, didn't really need them. Especially in the line of business. Yeah, I thought I needed this team. Don't actually need the team. What I need to do is double down, because I can create sales, but I'm taking the money I'm making on sales and putting it out to the team instead of building my nest egg, building some cushion. And I'm tired of the cycles. So really, really powerful. Number 1, purposefully controlling our spend rate. So I'm going to put this in the context for how I've been explaining it to my girls. And we've just been having these chats every so often. It's not like they're really planned. I'm just like, hey girls, want to talk about this? And, sure, Dad. And so I was like, here's what we know. We have to really assess what we're going to purchase and know the world is structured to hit notes for us emotionally, to really trigger us to buy things. What they're trying to do is build our emotional case that we need this, especially when you see other people having it, and then make us. Phone's a great example. Gotta have the new $2,000 phone. Oh my gosh, I totally need it. This is what I use all the time. No, the phone I got's okay. As a matter of fact, I probably should be using less of it. Stats show we're disconnecting from life by looking into that piece of glass. You know what? I'm gonna just keep the phone I got. Boom, money saved. oh, I got to go out and do all these things. And I recognize this in my life. I was spending a lot of money on certain things. I'm like, why am I doing those things that cost a lot when we can do those things that are just as fun and don't cost as much? Give you a real quick example. Going out to an expensive dinner versus going to downtown Fort Myers and going to downtown House of Pizza, which we just did recently. And it was a $20 meal ticket, big salad, a slice of pizza, water, $20 for two of us. And it was a great tasting meal and a cool experience. Versus going down to some of the places I love where it's $150 for two people. That includes tip. Like, come on. But I do like to do that as a celebration every so often. But I recognize it's not happening every day. So I'm purposefully controlling the spend rate. You follow that logic? Eating out is a good one because that's what a lot of people that I've worked with are like, yeah, I totally need to dial that in. A lot of companies, and even David Bach's latest book, The Latte Factor, talks about even Starbucks versus making your own coffee. It's $3 a day. $3 a day is $1,000 a year. And that's if you just get the small cup. If you get the bigger cup, $6 a day, $7 a day, that's $2,000 a year. If you do the math and extrapolate. You follow? So think about, and I challenge people to really think about their spend rate. So with that being said, I'm going to go right into the first challenge. And that is this number 7 on our business assessment. And this is a really great example of something that I have people do to help with that. For every week, month, quarter, at least every 6 months, review the performance of your income streams and your expenses. And you don't have to see the in my business if you don't have a business. But all you're doing is saying, okay, here's my expenses. Here's my income. And what I want to make sure of is I got a third, or 50% going into break even, maybe 10, 20, 30% going for fun money, and maybe the balance going for the future into an investment fund of some sort. And what we're looking for here is what have we been spending money on? And this tactical exercise, which is number 1 in our tactics, is to take your latest credit card statement or statements, and if you have a spouse, this is fun to do as a group, and by fun I mean sometimes it can go sideways, is just to lay them out, get a green, yellow, and red highlighter, or 3 highlighters, green, yellow, and red, and just go through each line and say green, yep, totally needed it, it's a must-have for living. Could be groceries. Yellow in groceries might mean, I think we overspent. Red would be we don't need groceries. Then down the next item, oh, we went out to eat. Yellow, that was a little expensive. Or green, you know what? We celebrated and it was awesome and we totally agree we needed it. Then down to the next item. Bought this thing at Home Depot or at Amazon. Okay, well, was it green, yellow, or red? Just doing that exercise helps you understand, what was I thinking when I bought that? How can I set a situational trigger in the future so that when I go to, this is where I mess up. And that exercise alone, and I hope you see the tactics of that, has helped so many people overcome just blowing money left and right. And it's the little amounts, $20 here, $3 a day there, $7 a day there, that add up to the thousands over the course of a year. You follow? So it's purposefully controlling our spend rate. A penny saved is a penny earned. But what I like what in Tim Ferriss's podcast they had to say about, you can only bring expenses down so far, but the world's set up where we can create unlimited income. So at this point, we're pivoting the conversation to income. And that's where I want to bring in this quote. Most millionaires have 7 or more revenue streams. So take a moment, write that down if you haven't heard that before, you have, just write it down and really think about, okay, most millionaires have 7 or more revenue streams. And the goal here isn't to help you be a millionaire per se, it's to help you experience freedom, living purposefully and profitably. You follow? So if your break-even expenses per year are like $60K, we just want you to maybe be living at $120K, $200K. If you're in a relationship, maybe it's $300K, so that you have cash flow for life. See how this connects? I love that saying. It's so powerful. And you're really going after it, but you're keeping and you're being wise with what you got. That's all about number 1. So now let's pivot this conversation into making money. And I wanted to make sure I illustrated for you exactly how I'm doing it. Just so you have context, I really don't have to do anything at this point. I could easily live probably for the next 20, 30 years on the wealth that I've accumulated now. So the reason I'm doing this and I wish I knew this earlier in my life. I think in the early 20s this would have been helpful, is to just do what you're passionate about. Because I got there, but it was like came around the corners of helping people with technology and, well, helping people and working with technology. And then finally I got that in alignment, kind of by accident, wasn't really strategically planned this way, with the internet service provider business. And that's when I was able to sell that business and retire at 29. I aligned my purpose with something incredibly profitable, was passionate about it, positive about it, and very productive. Hustle for me back in the day, because I didn't really know how to run a business. The business kind of ran me. But then boom, this thing scaled big time. And then I was able to retire October 10th, 2000. Remember that date. I'm a little bit of a date freak, but that's how that can roll. You follow? So with that being said, let's pause for a minute and assess the way you're making money right now. How many revenue streams do you have? So a job is a revenue stream. Investments might be a revenue stream. Let's say you have a property that you've rented. That's a revenue stream. Investments in general, maybe you have a 401k or whatever that is. There's an investment portfolio. Hopefully that's growing year over year. That's a revenue stream. You might recommend products or services or solutions for somebody else, and that's a revenue stream. So I want you to just assess, where are you at in that scale right now? And if you don't have but one, that's totally cool. Today's goal is to help you think bigger, to be more ambitious, and just to share with you what's working for us. Cool? I love this. So number 2 here, for me, purposeful revenue stream is consulting. And this is the world of where I come from. I've been doing this since 1988. And so pretty intense. If I do say so myself, that's what, 31 years? Holy moly. I don't feel that old, but I guess I am. So the main way that I consult is through the internet fulfillment business. And I just want to bring it up on the big screen for you so you can see it. And that's Internet Services Group of Florida. It's kind of the continuation of our brand, Internet Services of Michigan, which was the big company that I sold. And you'll see purpose all throughout this page. We're going to be redoing the front page here shortly. This site is built in Kajabi, and people pay us through it for us to fulfill on their work. So I want to be real clear about what the difference is between Internet Services Group and then the next item, Life Business Success Group, which is what this training is being administered through. So the frame for this, consulting has 2 major components to it. There's the setup and continuity. What does that mean? It means in order to really have what I like to call a healthy online presence, that includes a website, a blog, good social media, YouTube channel, business listings, business reviews, news releases, email marketing, all these things, we have to set up and understand where the customers are at that are the highest level of sales conversion. And if this is going over your head, that's totally fine. But the goal, the format, the layout of their website, their online presence, their blog, everything is not about just, hey guys, here's who we are and what we do, but it's really engineered for, hey guys, here's who we are. Please give us your email or call us so you're not anonymous to us and we recognize we might be able to serve you. So we have to do what I call vision, strategy, and planning in the front end. And through that process, I say to them, hey, would you like us to help you or fulfill on doing that work? And for us, that goes to continuity. Every month or quarter, we have measurable deliverables that we're putting into the world. You follow? So typically, setup includes the building of a website, the social media plan, the SEO plan, like search engine optimization, what kind of words are we going for, laying out, here's the stuff we're going to hit the ground with as soon as the site's built, those kind of things. Here's the first few blog posts. And then continuity is this conversation every so often. Hey, we need some information. We need some new things. We got to send out an email marketing blast. We want to do that every month. We want a new blog post every other week, a new video every other week, and that piece. So that's one purposeful revenue stream. And I want to double down on this for you. The reason it's incredibly purposeful is that we pick companies that we can really serve and support that are doing purposeful things, that aren't harming the world. Does that make sense? So thought leaders are great. some service companies that are really helping the world be better, like air conditioning companies that are helping the world be cool. These kind of things. People that are helping window tinting, paver protecting, what else? Tile, grout cleaning, pool service to help people live the dream in a nice pool, to bring more fellowship and fun with their friends and family. Really, really, really powerful there. So we're doing the work for businesses to grow. And I want to really double down on consulting versus what the next piece is. Consulting is where we go through, help them understand what the things are they need to be aware of for their business. We help them think around corners that they may not be thinking about. A lot of times they'll come to us and I need online. Why do you need online? I need people to see me. No, you need people to call you. You need people to email you. You need people to express interest in what you have. Oh, that's what I meant. Oh, okay. Well, we got to really dial in what's the most fulfilling, most desirable, most profitable parts for you. And then build campaigns to that end. Oh, I don't know what that means, but I think that's what I got to do. That's why we're here. And then we're going to go after that continually, consistently, and thoroughly. That's consulting, and we do the work. Now, what happened back in 2011 and 12 is we got so busy, my team told me we cannot take on any more projects. And I said, well, here's the thing. I got all these people that need help. So then I created a coaching, training, and teaching business where I empower others to know best practices and do the work on their own. Help supporting others to live, love, and lead purposefully. Does that make sense? That's what we're in right now. Educating people on what the best practices are, what the things are they need to concentrate on, how to actually do the work. In our other monthly training today, we're going to dive deep on the tactics of putting up checkout pages, sales pages, and putting ads to these things to grow business. But I'm going to be showing you how to do it versus doing it for you. You follow? Really, really critical distinctions. And I love it because the online training kind of took off in the early 10s, even though it was going on in the zeros. And it was really pivotal towards that end. So far we have two very purposeful revenue streams. One is us doing the work with purposeful companies, helping them grow in the world. Two is me coaching, teaching, and training, and that's where the leverage comes in. I can do the work once, put it on video, and it has a legacy. You follow? Like the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge. I help people live, lead, and love purposefully through the challenge. To have higher levels of energy, go over the 10 things that I had to dial in to get this body down to where it needed to be to feel more energy consistently. And then really think about how I'm approaching the day. One of the days is purpose. One of the days is daily plan. Really going after that. If you haven't done the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge, go ahead and I'll put a link to it in our replay. Go ahead, jump in and go after it. It's totally free. But that's the piece. That's the pivot. So my question for you with everything I reviewed is this. Do you know things, and would you be okay with 1, 2, 3 customers, helping them by doing the work for them? That's a consulting role. A coaching role is where you're empowering others to do the work and challenging them along the way. So it's kind of like, give a couple illustrations between the conversation. I really had to learn this for myself. When I'm in consulting mode, I'm like, okay, so here's the things you need to be aware of. Here's the things you need to do. Do you want to do these things or do you want us to do these things? Coaching role is, what would you consider to be most important with where you want your business to go? Okay, these kind of things are happening. All right, let me give you an illustration to help you understand what are some other things you want to be careful of. Okay, now, what do you think you need to do next to go after those things in light of what I just shared? You feel the difference in the conversation? It's me helping them come up with their own options versus me just spilling it and saying, here's what you need. Just what I shared with you is help people understand I am not a coach. I am a consultant. I do not want to coach because this is a lot of work. It's kind of like teaching somebody how to fish versus just fishing for them. You follow? That's the shift. So just want to make sure you see that. And that's the conversation I have with my girls to really help them understand. So the challenge for my girls this week was to go and try building a website or working towards building a website. And I'm really proud to show you. I just gave them instruction. I said, here's a site map, home, services, about, all these kind of things. And Josie, my youngest, in 3 hours while I was in calls, built this site from the ground up, never having built a site before, using the power of Wix. Because I wanted her to experience when customers ask for you to build something for them, this is part of setup, here's what that can look like. How'd she do? I was blown away. She has all the site map laid out. She did her own, she got her own imagery, put her own comments in. She said, Dad, I worked on the header of this for a long time to get it right. And totally owned the process. And I said, Joe, that's a huge part to the setup piece. How'd you feel about that? Is that something you could see yourself doing for an enduring amount of time? Building websites, being creative. So critically important for my girls and for any children on the planet to get immersed in the possibilities, to try them, to see them. And that's a huge part of that conversation. And then on the other side, to fulfill for them, to take videos, edit them, that's some of the other things my girls are doing, and to really own that. You follow? So we have here, Internet Services Group, the fulfillment company. We have it's an example of a site. This is totally fictitious. It wasn't for a customer. I wanted her to see, I want to see how far she could go. She owned it. Then we have Life and Business Success. And right now, it's pretty much just a store page. We're just about ready to unveil our new scale page, where you'll see specific things that remove pain for people. And I cannot wait to show you that once that's done. And that's these two. Doing the work for businesses to grow, and I would say purposeful businesses. Coaching, training, and teaching. Empowering, helping, supporting others to live, lead, and love purposefully. That's Life and Business Success Group, Internet Services Group. Setup continuity is the core here. Continuity is where recurring revenue keeps the cash flow coming in. Here we have people, as you probably know, if you're watching this, you're most likely a member of our beautiful community, paying us to keep this conversation alive. Life, business, online mastery for life with high performance. You follow? So these are two examples of how I'm trading time for money-ish. This one's leveraged. This one is also leveraged because I have a team that does the work. But I'm in some of the projects, working with people, working with technology, two things I absolutely love and I'm passionate about. You follow? Next up is where we kind of scale out. If you've ever read the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant, I think is the name of the book. There's investment is the ultimate place people want to be, where you have investments out there that are just giving you cash flow, if you will, and it's enough to live on or more. Imagine a world where every morning you get up and you've got more than enough to live on that just came in. Overnight you had 7 emails come in and be like, hey, these things all made these amount of money. And it's like, let's just say you need $400 a day to live, and it's $1,000 a day coming in consistently over the long term. Like, wow. And that's a big part of the structure. So the fourth item here is something I've been teaching my girls, and we just did this in the last week. And this is a very, very tricky thing, so I'm not offering any advice around this. Compound interest investing. And if you haven't studied the art and the magic of compound interest, it's amazing. So let's just give you an example. If you had $100,000 and you made 3% on that $100,000 over the course of 30 years, I can do that actually. I'll bring it up here. I have a little spreadsheet that we made. Compound interest. Yeah, here we go. So let's just do the math here. Compound interest, if we did that let's just say 35 times at 3%, that $100,000 turns into 281. If you did 35 transactions at 5% interest on average, that becomes over $500,000. And if we move over to the right, if you did 35 transactions at 10%, you can see where that goes. Very substantial, over 2 million. And so what I'm teaching my girls is how we can, through signals and systems, with stocks that we love, my favorite is Amazon, watch for dips and increases And just if the signals are hit, we can use what's called, this gets very complicated very quickly. We can use stop limit orders, stop loss orders to limit our loss, which is the number one rule in investing, and then ride waves up. So that may sound like, what? But in the last 2 weeks, we've made $4,164 doing that. Just by trading in the morning, signals were met, watching it rise, and then cashing out. It was kind of like day trading, but I'm not in it on a day. I'm just waiting for it to go 3 to 5%, and then it automatically cashes out, because you can do what's called conditional orders, meaning that you put in rules. This money gets invested when the stock's here. There's a stop limit or stop loss. So that if it goes down, the stock goes down, it automatically cashes out. You lose a little bit, not a lot. Or it grows, and then it cashes itself out when it hits 3, 5%, somewhere in there. Or we'll monitor it and watch it. And so the idea is, the magic of compound interest is this: over the course of 5 years, you can take a certain amount of money and get 3, 5, 10%, whatever the trades are. Boom, you're growing wealth. And what blew my girls' minds was that inside of, literally, it was the signals were all hit and Amazon was low and the market was looking like it was going up. We have certain things, I'm not going to get into the details of that I watch for, but it went up. So we got in on a stock at 18, I think it was 1834, and in 3 or 4 hours it was at 1880 a share, and then boom, we cashed out and we made some money. And I just wanted to show them, if these signals are met, and this is really critical because you can lose your shirt doing this too, that we can make money over the long term on this. And it doesn't have to be the way I'm describing it, compound interest. It can simply be getting 3% for 35 years, 3% annually for 35 years to grow wealth. But they needed to see it. But they also needed to equate that in hourly wage. A friend of theirs is working at $10 an hour. And I said, girls, we just made over $4,000 in the last few days with these trades. How much time would that be at $10 an hour? They did the math. They're like, Dad, it's like months. And I'm like, that's the way the world works. You girls need to see all the ways people can make money. Now, that does have a prerequisite, that you have money to invest. You have a system. You've learned. If I said, you have a good role model here with me, and I've been doing this for 8 years, and so there's certain rules, I'm happy to go over that with you. And that's compound interest investing. At the bare minimum, if you're living into number one, you're putting money away. You're doing compound interest investing in a very conservative way through savings accounts or CDs or any of these other things. You follow? So this is a very purposeful way for us to grow wealth because we're investing in companies we believe in. That's one of my rules. And I believe in Amazon because I love what they're doing and I love how they're taking care of these facets in really profound ways. The Amazon Prime at Whole Foods, I love that. I love the idea that they're rewarding people for having Amazon Day where they consolidate shipments so that they don't have to use so much resource. I love the fact that they're in an internet business. They have their own web serving, AWS is what they call it, platform that's incredibly reliable. A lot of our sites are served from that. It's really, really powerful. They got their hands in all these things, but they're doing a really good job in these areas and doing it very purposefully. And how can you tell if it's purposefully? When for whatever reason, the last few weeks, I put in an order in Amazon and it got shipped, but it got lost. They automatically course corrected and said, hey, you know what? This shipment's taking a little longer. Give us till Friday to figure out whether it's lost or whether we can get it back to you. And they automatically credited that and said, here's a reorder button if you want to go after reordering it. And I'm like, that is slick. In the quantity of orders that they process, to be able to do that and have it automated, I'm like, I love Amazon. This was amazing. So Amazon's a stock that we love. Apple's another one. Tesla, although it's a little shaky in terms of where it's at, in terms of the bigger picture. We love Tesla because of its promise for the future. You know, with the solar panels, the powering of your house through rechargeable energy, and then the cars themselves that don't have and actually have an engine that produces CO2. Now you can question, you know, how they're built and what the resources are for that in terms of harming the environment. But that's the idea here. So compound interest investing, whether or not it is something you do as a practice or you automate it. By that I mean you just put money away and then let, you know, the CD, 3% or 5% or whatever you can get, automatically do that. Every year it's compounding. My girls, have a lot of time in front of them, as long as they're blessed to be on the planet. And I was really helping them understand, if you just live into one, do some of this to support this, you don't have to do the investing like I do. The active trading is what we call that. But you can go after it. You follow? So if you want more information on compound interest investing, I'm happy to go into details of it. Again, I'm not like a pro or anything. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not like offering any kind of financial advice around this. Like, you have to be real clear that investing you can lose your shirt on. I've been down that road in my early trading days. Luckily, I mean, I always work with money that I know, if this goes, it goes. It's just the way that can work. But I have limit loss, all these kind of things that I've learned and I put into play for the work that I do. Does that all make sense? So that's a big part of purposeful ways we're building wealth right now. It's just amazing when we get into the way the world works. Cool? All right, the last item. Let me fill this in. Experiencing the growth of businesses we're invested in. And I would even say believe in. Invested in, believe in. Does that all make sense? I hope that helps. It's such an amazing world when you get in that space. And just so you know, that soothes the part of me, of the computer programmer who's in the basement with headphones on, the total introvert. This stuff, I can just sit there, watch this, monitor a couple of sites that I monitor for the way the vibe of the world is from an investing perspective, do a trade, put some rules in, just like programming, if-then statements, and then let it go, and then just see if it goes somewhere. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, well, we lost a little bit. That's fine. But that helps with that piece. I love that. The last is the Burr Method of investing. This is something that I've done before. Let me bring up here what that actually means for you. So the Burr Method of investing, I used to do a lot of home investing and renting back in the late 90s, early zeros with my ex-wife. And Burr is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. I got to get those BRRRs down. And so basically what it is this. When we go back to cash flow for life, our goal, our dream, desire, and the girls and I have been working on this for them and their future, is to find 2, 3, 4 unit properties and really scout out the deals, meaning that they're below market value and that they're an opportunity for us to fix them up, buy them, rehab them, like fix them, rent them, refinance them, and then find another property. Now, I'm going to just cover the basics here. The goal is for us, along lines of Purposeful Ways We're Building Wealth, is in the next 2 years to find one of those properties and to put the girls in on the ownership of it as soon as they're of age and they can be of the ownership of that property for future wealth. But our premise is to make sure that property has people in it who really are helping live a dream. It's not just, hey guys, rent our property. It's like we're going to qualify the people we rent to make sure they're good people, and we're going to let them know we're here for them, and we're going to support them, make sure their home is the best it can be, and we're going to really go after an experience. And the properties we get, we're probably going to keep forever. Our core concern to build wealth and be purposeful about it is to assure they understand we're here to take care of them just as if they were our own family. And not some people will call me out on that and be like, you mean like a dysfunctional family? No. I mean their own family of people who really love, care, and support them. You follow? And so we're laying this plan down for what kind of properties we want to look for. And now we're doing the scouting of that. But we're giving ourselves plenty of time for that. This is a long-term play because we want to get the right property, go in, the girls are going to design, paint, fix up. My oldest is very creative, so she's going to really work on, Dad, let's do this for this room, but we got to make sure it's not too creative because that can turn renters off, but really dial it in. We'll go to Home Depot, get parts, do what we got to do, all the stuff that I used to do. I'm blessed that I was a handyman in my grandpa's business in my teens, and I learned how to do a ton of stuff. I mean, everything from electricity to plumbing and all that. Of course, we would use, if we had major work to do, licensed contractors and stuff like that. But the idea is, Burr Method of investing, helping others truly live the dream. So these are 5 concepts today that are very purposeful ways we're building wealth. Does So as adult learning theory tells us, let's recap. First one, we have to purposefully control our spend rate. And I hope those 3 levels helped. That idea of break even, the fun money, and then saving for the future. Second, I chose consulting, helping people by doing the work for them. We do that through setup and continuity with a lot of training on the front end to assure they understand why we're doing what we're doing along the 3 lines: awareness, leads, and sales. So many people don't concentrate their online presence around sales. They're like, well, if it can just get me calls. No. We want to make sure it's of the fulfilling, profitable, desirable services, solutions, or products you've got. Next, well, hey, you know what? I don't have the money to pay you guys to do it. Can you teach me how? Yeah, I can. As a matter of fact, I got online courses that teach you. I'm refilming 3 of my internet courses. Show up online now, which is the big objection. What do I got to do right away to show up and do it right? 2, the Web Starter Kit. I got the workbook for that, how to build content and pages to convert. 3, the Total Internet Marketing Blueprint. Very in-depth course. It's what my internet marketing team uses to fulfill on all these different areas. I call them the online drives for success. And boom, if you want to do all that work, you can. If you don't, that's what our team does. You see how it kind of helps each other out? Really powerful. Next, compound interest investing. That's a mechanism we chose. Whether it's for the long term, just putting it in a thing that does compound interest annually at 3% or whatever that is, or whether we active trade on that, and that's what I'm teaching them to show them how that can work and the logic and how we got to listen to Warren Buffett. When others are getting greedy, we get fearful. When people are getting fearful, we get greedy. And I don't like the word greed, but the concept is it's the opposite of what your body's telling you. And your mind is like, oh, right now I got to go liquid and save money. No. Right now is probably an opportunity to grow, as history shows. ... Next up is the Burr Method. And I can't think of any better way to leave a legacy for my beautiful girls than to help them understand how to help others live a dream life through beautiful rentals. And to do it with such purpose, such love, such care, such compassion, above and beyond how typical rental routines tend to work. If you've ever rented anything, you kind of get what I'm saying, I hope. To really create an experience for them. So that if they're new to the area, they have a guide list of all the things we love to do and others have reported they love to do. Restaurants, adventures, experiences, no, low, medium, high cost, those kind of things. You follow? I know this conversation today is deep, but I want to make sure you're seeing the bigger picture here of how that can work. So, tactics for today, let's go ahead and switch over here. Live into and thoroughly try number 7 in the My Business Assessment, and that is right here. Let's go over here, pop that on. And that is to test and measure, improve or remove these expenses. Really dialing in, having a purposeful spend rate, as we'll call it. Second, vision, strategize, and plan how 1, 2, or 3 purposeful revenue streams can each meet or exceed your break even. Really critical. Every one of these revenue streams, I have planned exactly what it will take to reach our break even, and I try to do that within 2 years. If it's something that I know I can do shorter than that, 6 months to a year is where I really go after hitting a break even. For example, if all of this, these guys went away, ISG can support my life easily. If ISG goes away, this can support my life. 2 of them can really support my life. All of them are like humming along the lines of most millionaires have 7 or more revenue streams. I hope this is landing for you. I hope this is making sense. If it isn't, I'm here for you. Just let me know. So that each exceed your break even. And I got to tell you, if you really want to sit down and strategize on this, I am your man. I will help you. Just like I'm helping my beautiful girls. Really go after these things. Really, really powerful. Finally, or third, prioritize your purposeful revenue streams. Think which solves the most pain now. This is critical conversation when I do vision, strategy, and planning. This one and this one solve the most pain right away. Why is that? Because people right now are missing out on business because they're not represented online properly. They're not having the right words. They're not having the right structure. They haven't set the goal for sales conversion. They set the goal for awareness, and they're missing out on business. And I can prove that through our online presence report card. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll make sure to link to it in the replay and include it actually in the recording. The replay is as a PDF downloadable. And it lets you rate yourself on exactly what you're missing out on the needle movers right now in terms of creating a sustainable business through the power of the internet. You follow? Down here, people need places to live. If the economy shifts, we go into recession, guess what goes up? Rentals. It's a total difference from, like, property sales may go down, but rentals go up. People are like, oh, I got to sell my property to survive, and I'm going to just have to pay rent per month. That's a history. That's history. That's fact. That's, if you go and do the research, you'll see that as the case. There's a little blip, like property sales in 2009, 10, 11 went like this. Property rentals went like this. You follow? So these are two that are prioritized around pain. This one, this is more, ambition for the future, investing in companies we like. It's kind of a fun thing to do for me, but it's also very scary if I don't do it right. And then this is the ambition for helping people for the long term. Now, it does relieve pain for a lot of people, but you can see the difference where, at least in my mind, and this is just through years and years of experience, consulting is like, got it. We got to go. We got to move, and we need some help right now, and I don't know how to do it. I don't want to learn how to do it. I want you to do it. Where here, it's like, okay, get it. These are the things we should be thinking about. Here's where we're going to be trained to go after it. But you feel how the pain is being more removed here than it is here, typically? Really, really powerful. Just want to make sure you kind of saw how I prioritize the pain pieces and making sure we're going after removal of pain. Because that's when people are pinching you and it hurts, like, stop. But when people are just like this, yeah, that's nice. You're showing me affection. It's a difference. We want to stop the pain. We want to stop the pinching. These are stopping the pain. Got to find a place to rent. Want to be taken care of. Got to solve issues. We got to make more money from our website. We got to take it down, or we got to close our business. ... So I'll make sure you just kind of saw that. The last piece, and I just wanted to make sure you saw some other options of what people that I've coached are doing right now to make income or money online, is fulfillment by Amazon. There's a lot of courses online right now that teach you how to get in that big, if you want to picture a big pipeline, and it's Amazon money flowing in it, like this, coming back and forth, people buying and people selling on Amazon. And what you're doing is you're carving out a little bit of it and saying, send that money my way, please. Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon is what my youngest daughter was like, Dad, what can I do for work this summer? And I said, well, let's just try some stuff. Let's try building a website. Check. Let's try understanding fulfillment by Amazon. Because that can be a gift that I can give you through trainings and online teachings that you can monitor. She's very good with being on a computer and just monitoring spreadsheets, financial, logical things. I said that might be something you could do to create income, wherever you're at. Just monitoring it, putting new product in, securing it, that kind of stuff, on a daily or weekly basis. So we'll give that a try. So that would be something that I would help others, and I've coached people to do, and some people that I know are making major bank there. And then, of course, there's affiliate programs and selling things that you believe in. So like Amazon has an affiliate program where if you recommend product to people, like the High Performance Planner or HPX, the little supplements, if you're a high performance coach, you can make income 4% on each sale. Up to, I think it's 15% if you sell a lot. And that's another way of generating purposeful revenue. You follow how this all connects? And then, of course, and I'll end on this, our beautiful affiliate program for our master's program, our mastery community and our master's program now, people in our community are making $500 a quarter based on the fact they referred people to us through this beautiful plan. For every person at a general membership price for our membership community, our mastery community, $297 a month, that's $60 a month in commission for the life of the subscriber. That can be $712 a year. And it's just living into connecting once and helping them understand the community can help them for the long term. So you follow how this works? Kajabi, the manufacturer, the people that make the program that we use, they have a very similar program. They just revamped it. I just had a call with them on it, where you make unlimited revenue. Like based on the number of subscribers that you get through them, you make recurring revenue, commission, if you will, for the life of the subscription. It used to be just for a year. They changed that. You follow? Really powerful ways to create purposeful revenue. And my challenge for you as you think through these things is this. Is this helping the world be a better place somehow? That's the measurement I use along the lines of all the things that I get in on. And I have to answer that with a solid yes and feel it in my heart. So I know we've covered a lot today. My job today was to really help you feel more purposeful, get some enthusiasm, some emotion, some passion around things. Bring the joy to what you do. Be productive, going after your life's work and taking care of your responsibilities, and generate more wealth, more profit too. I hope this delivered for you. If you have any questions about these things, because I know they get complicated quick, that's what our Q&A is for. That's what the comments are for. Love to support you. Thanks so much for being here today with me. Cannot wait to jump into our next training, which is where we're going to break out one of the revenue streams, LBSG, checkout, sales pages, ads, using best practices. We're going to do a little work together on that. You're going to see it in action, so you kind of have the entire path painted. And I have a couple bonuses for you there too. Thank you so much. Have an awesome one. See you super soon. Bye.